It's Madden NFL 22 on EA Sports. And the question is, are you ready for some football? It's the Pats and the Colts coming up next.
We are pleased as always to be bringing you coverage of the National Football League on EA Sports. Just as we were ready for air, it was the Colts emerging from the locker room to great fanfare here in Indy. They're ready to go as the Colts get set to match up with the New England Patriots. Brandon Gordon alongside, as always, my partner Charles Davis and CD. In the few moments here before kickoff, let's give these folks at home a look at these two offenses by the numbers. What stands out to you?
Brandon, I just continue to be amazed by the analytics of the game, and it's an area where I continue to concentrate and study because I'm still trying to figure out how coaches and coordinators can really crunch the numbers and find where exactly on the field a defense is vulnerable. It's the game within the game. And if you really dive into it, it can be endlessly fascinating.
And the punter, Rigoberto Sanchez, ready to go, and we are underway from Lucas Oil Stadium. Taylor now from the end zone. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Cost him about 5 yards as he's tackled it to 20. The Patriot offense ready for their first drive, led by Mac Jones, the Heisman Trophy finalist and 15th overall selection this spring from Alabama.
And he's the latest in a line of Alabama quarterbacks that are potential NFL starters. Sat behind Tua Tagovailoa patiently, waiting his turn, and in 1 year as a starter, exploded on the scene. 41 touchdown passes to just 4 interceptions, 77% completion percentage. He had it going. Alabama won a national title, and now here he is getting his shot in the NFL.
Throwing Jones. Complete. It's Henry. A bad start there. A big loss on their first play from scrimmage. It's second down.
Well, that wasn't exactly a work of art, was it?
No, that wasn't a thing of beauty. This is why I don't play in points per reception fantasy league.
Is that what they call
the receiver
PPR?
still gets a point there. Yeah.
Oh.
And you went that far back. No bueno.
Well, I'll tell you what. I wish I had their defense on my fantasy game.
Give him 3 yards on the run. Now they'll need to drop something good here on 3rd and 13. Now Jones. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
There is something to a game plan when trying to keep a defense honest. When the guy with that type of speed, you do so. Send him deep, try to throw some air under it, and hope you connect downfield. On that play, they were unsuccessful.
The AFC's Pro Bowl punter last year, Jake Bailey, on to punt for New England. Back deep for the Colts, Nyheim Hines. 37 yards on the punt with no return. And the Colts will go on offense here, 1st and 10. So now we'll get a look at the other offensive unit as they come out for their first possession. They're led by their 6-year quarterback out of North Dakota State, a former Pro Bowler, Carson Wentz.
And Carson Wentz made the move from Philadelphia to Indianapolis back in mid-February. And although his last season as an Eagle, not one that he wants to remember, he's now reunited with his former offensive coordinator and current Colts head coach Frank Reich, and gets to play behind one of the best offensive lines in football. A great place to resurrect his career.
On first down, Wentz. This will be taken in by Michael Pittman. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45.
But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
On first and 10, here's Wentz. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Dante Hightower coming in for the sack from his linebacker spot. Now, the number one mission of any offensive line, you got to protect that quarterback, keep him safe back there. This time, the rush got to him in a hurry.
Yeah, and this time it's going to come from the middle linebacker, because watching the lineman, it seemed to me that they thought he was going to drop back into pass protection, but he surprised them and came on the blitz instead and had a pretty clear run to the quarterback.
And they won't fare much better here as he maybe gets back to the line. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up. We talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot. He had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done, because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
Now he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked up by J.C. Jackson. And the Patriots are going to get it back here just shy of the 20. But really not much secret there. 3rd and long, Charles, and he was looking to throw the football. And I would imagine as a defender, you're kind of salivating in that spot, right?
You certainly are, because 3rd and long situations, they tip the scale towards the defense every single time. Now you're actually able to dictate and understand what the offense is trying to do. You know where the first down marker is. You set your defense that way, and maybe you can be a little more aggressive in certain situations because of that. You start focusing on your coverage assignment, and when the ball's released, you break on it and make a play, as we just saw there.
So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. First carry for Damian Harris, the Alabama man. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. 2nd down.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
Throwing on 2nd and 8. Jones. He'll dump this down to Stevenson. Call it a gain of 6 on the play. And just like that, it's 3rd down. The completion there by Mac Jones. And Charles, what do you think this defense needs to do to slow down this young rookie from Alabama?
Well, as usual with a rookie, pass rush is big. Put some pressure on him and see if he can handle things in the pocket. But the other one is your defensive backs, linebackers who are covering people, they need to be on the spot because he's extremely accurate with the ball. He doesn't miss very many throws downfield, puts it right on his receivers. You have to be there to stop them at the point of the catch.
And all the way down inside the 25 before he gets out of bounds. 52 yards rushing for him now as he has gotten the night off to a hot start. So that run there, yeah, I don't know if it's overstating things to call it a thing of beauty, but in terms of football plays, that's as good as you're going to see.
And what I really enjoyed about that run and what made it so impressive to me was how he improvised along the way. Sometimes on a big play, you just get the football and you take off in a straight line and go. But this time, how about the artistry of that play? That looked a little bit like a Picasso to me.
And right side, Henry's got it. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4.
Come on now, let's go.
How about the speed with which this offense can get down the field? It's taken them no time at all to get down here, and now they're set up with a 1st and goal.
Here we go now on 1st and goal. Harris. And he gets halfway home from the 4 down to the 2-yard line. Looking at this now, you got a couple more cracks here this close. Sneak it.
I don't think even go into a huddle. Just line up, snap it, and fall in behind those guys into the end zone.
From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. Stevenson. And they'll bring him down after just a short pickup. Down on the field, we've got an injured Colt after that last play. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. This Colts D up to the challenge so far, but they need another stop here on 3rd and goal. Back to throw. Jones to the end zone, but it's incomplete. So they opted to pass for it on 3rd and goal. Let's see what they do on 4th and goal.
Well, I think they threw it with the idea that if they didn't get it, they would go for it on 4th and goal. So they've got another play in their pocket. They're going to have to call it right now. No field goal here.
And no move to take the offense on the field. They're going to stay out there and go for it on 4th and goal. And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. They're turned away on 4th and goal. And this Colts defense comes up with a goal line stand. And defensively, they were ready for that, a full-on blitz on 4th down, and they stop them short of the marker.
Oh, and someone's got to feel really good about that, and that's the defensive coordinator. He dialed up a great run blitz defense, and they hit it just right. Stack that thing up. They're going to feel awesome going to the bench after that big play.
They'll run with Taylor to begin the drive. And not a whole lot of room to operate there on the 1st down run. He gets maybe 3.
And while they hope to continue this drive, it's really already mission accomplished. They've given enough space now that if they have to punt the ball, they've done so with that first run.
Second and 7. Wentz going to give this to Taylor. And they'll bring him down right around the 13.
That's the type of run that Jonathan Taylor gives you so often, and you just can't take it for granted. He finds a way to get those extra yards. The 3rd running back taken in the 2020 draft, but he had the best numbers by far of any of them. 1,169 yards, 3rd most in the NFL. And by the last quarter of the season, he ranked among the best runners in the league.
So a little more space to work with here from the 13 on 1st and 10. On the handoff, this is Taylor. And he'll go down right on the edge of the red zone following a pickup of about 7 or 8.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber who runs like this early because they will pay dividends as the game progresses.
On 2nd down, it's Taylor. And he'll get only a couple up to the 22.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
They'll try and run for the first with Taylor. And this is going to be a Colts first down as he'll take this up to about the 33-yard line.
Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going, and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards. But also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off.
All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. From the gun, it's Taylor. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. No score after 1 on EA Sports. Second quarter now from Indianapolis with the homestanding Colts in possession, as they've got a 2nd and 8 forthcoming. Shotgun now for Wentz. Looking deep for Hilton. Tried to drop it in there, but it's intercepted. Picked up by Jalen Mills. And the Pats are going to take possession here at their own 6-yard line. Well, his arm strength never an issue, but this one winds up in the wrong hands.
Oh, the coverage here is just terrific because when it's done really well, sometimes you can't distinguish whether it's the receiver or the defensive back the ball's intended for. He actually ran with him in perfect motion and able to make a big-time play.
Another go-around now for the Patriot offense. They had a great drive going last time. They were moving the ball, and then all of a sudden it just stalled out. So we'll see what they can do here, Charles.
And it's always easy to second-guess when you don't get it on a 4th down try. But they had to like the feeling that they had going on offense. They want to continue to see if they can capture that again on this drive and maybe get in the same position.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, like I said, they were moving the football. It's not like they went 4 and out, so I don't think it's a deal where the offense doesn't have confidence.
No, I agree with you totally on that one. If anything, they may have gained more confidence. Okay, they stopped us once. That's all right. Let's keep moving it. Make them do it again.
7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on 1st down, that fits the bill.
Working with a 2nd and 3. On the give, this is Harris. Call it no gain that time as it's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 3 to go.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
New England on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 3. Looking to throw. Jones. Toward the sideline. Did he keep the feet in? Yes, he got them both down, says the side judge. And that's good enough for a 1st down.
Normally on 3rd down and short yardage, you're thinking to throw to your tight end. It's just going to be a simple chain mover. But this time they let him roam down the field, and a nice dart picks up the 1st down and then some.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Off play action. Jones. His throw incomplete.
Not only did he have a chance to scan the field there, it felt like he had a chance to scan it twice. The protection was that good. Unfortunately for him, the coverage downfield, equally good.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. To throw again, Jones. Looking right sideline, but it's incomplete.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
New England on third down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 10. Back to throw again. The connection here with Nelson Aguilar. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. A big play there for the Patriots.
There's the arm strength that we saw in college and during the scouting process. And really, it's not just the arm strength there, but the placement as well. To me, that was an excellent combination of arm talent and accuracy.
So now then, the big play has him all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. Again, he'll drop to throw. That's complete into the hands of Myers. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
On 2nd down, this is Harris. And he'll only get a yard to bring up 3rd and 1.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
They'll look to make it 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. They need a yard here. Trying to pick it up on the ground with Harris. And he will have the 1st down before he's tackled at the 12.
And that's a run characteristic of Damian Harris. When he touches it, he gets not what's just blocked, but he gets a few more yards as well. He's been dinged up his first 2 years with the Patriots, only 10 starts a year ago. But you have to believe that this coaching staff thinks that he's capable of bigger and better things.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. On the draw, it's Harris. And able to get him inside the 5 here, just inside the 5 to about the 4. 66 yards for him on the ground so far tonight as he has been terrific in his first half. Second down, ball on the 3. 1st down marker at the 1-yard line. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
They've been playing sound fundamental defense thus far and able to keep this offense from creating a major dent on the scoreboard.
Able to force the incompletion, but still waiting for that game-changing play. You feel like it's coming, the first sack, the first turnover.
In a sense, they're playing old-school defense right now. The new school defense is what you said, taking the ball away.
Here's Jones from the gun on 3rd down. He will find his tight end Smith for a Patriot touchdown. 4 yards on the touchdown grab. And the Patriots go coast to coast and finish the drive off with 6 points. Well, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but his top 2 options were not available on that throw, so he went the safe route, worked out pretty well.
It was like you were in the pocket. How about you going through the progressions like that? But a lot of offenses say touchdown to check down. Look downfield first, bring it back to the line of scrimmage. Not easy for a rookie to do. Oftentimes they get one look and they make their decision off of that. He went through 3. That was impressive.
Folk connects on the extra point, and that makes the score 7-0.
kick it away after the touchdown.
Bringing it out of his end zone, Isaiah Rodgers.
Here's Carson Wentz now with the rest of his offensive unit heading onto the field. Bottom line, he's got to figure things out. He's completed 3 passes, but 2 of them have been to the wrong team so far.
And when we talk about the best quarterbacks, we're usually talking about touchdown to interception ratio, aren't we? And 2 to 1 is acceptable, but the top line guys, 3 to 1 or better is what they're looking for. Now we're talking about interceptions versus completions. That's not a ratio should ever be in any discussion.
A carry by Taylor to start the drive.
And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Now a give to Taylor. And he'll take it forward for about 5 up to the 28-yard line.
I think we can safely say that those types of plays are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every attempt.
An extra corner comes on now for the Patriots D on 3rd down.
They give to Taylor out of the gun.
And it would appear he's going to be short of a first down as he stopped right around the 29. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it'll be 4th down.
Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
To punt on 4th down, here's Rigoberto Sanchez.
Gunnar Olszewski deep for New England.
$39 yards on the punt, give him just 1 yard on the return. And the Patriots take over.
New England's offense set to go.
Things progressing to plan so far. Their defense has been solid, and they've got themselves a 7-0 lead after the touchdown the last time they had the ball.
And this is no time to even think about, hey, are we going to milk the clock? Hey, are we just going to do ball control? This is the NFL. 7-0 leads, they don't last very long unless you continue to push the envelope on offense.
They'll start on the ground with Harris. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. 2nd down. 2 minutes on the clock. 2nd quarter. 7-0 ball game. A reminder, coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will join us from Orlando with our halftime report. But business to take care of before we get there.
A 2-minute drill before the coach's 2-minute drill.
Now a throw here to his running back. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line.
So many times in my career I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing. But as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Now Jones throwing on 1st down. Open man is Kendrick Bourne. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory.
We didn't need to ask around the league, but we got to confirm this guy's a good player. They've got to find a way to get him more involved, call a few more plays that target him.
Absolutely, because here we are toward the end of the first half, and that's the first target, not just the first catch, first target. Jones on 1st and 10.
Setting up a screen for Stevenson.
Now the Patriots going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Throwing again on second down. Jones. And an incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock here with just under a minute to play in half number one. He was looking for his tight end, Hunter Henry. Third down here.
The coverage was good, but I just wonder if they absolutely fooled the quarterback on that play. I think he was expecting something else. Ended up with nowhere to throw the football successfully.
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. Open man right side, Myers. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up fourth down.
They didn't get the first down, but I have to say I do like the call. I like what they were trying to do. Try and hit your receiver on the run and see if he can pick it up. Keep it on his feet, get a little rack yardage.
Yeah, but a nice job defensively to get to him and keep him short of the first. No returning this one. It sails out of bounds, and they'll spot it right at the 20.
Now Jonathan Taylor and the Colts offense retakes center stage.
He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here.
Here's second and 10.
Wentz. Steps away to his left. And he'll slide to a halt here. Still a little shy of the first down marker. The Colts going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. Wentz to throw on 3rd and 1. Finds his big tight end, Mo Alley-Cox. Now the Colts going to burn the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Wentz going to throw. That's complete to Jack Doyle, the tight end. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll make it second and a foot or so. Now the Colts will use their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go here in the first half. A good gain on first has him set up with second and just a couple of inches now from the 29. Throwing now is Wentz. And that is incomplete. 16 seconds now on the clock.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync. Only way to play good defense.
Again, they'll throw with Wentz. And that will be incomplete with a clock down now to 13 seconds.
It certainly didn't appear that that's where he wanted to go with the ball initially, so he tried to get something out of it by dumping it off to his running back unsuccessfully.
Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez as he'll kick it away for the second time. This is away, but boy, headed straight for the sidelines. And the punt over the side in the air, and the spot will be inside the 35. The Pats at the line, ready to go.
And we'll see how aggressive they want to be in these final stages before the half.
They'll indeed try to run it out as they start on the ground. And defensively, they're just looking to keep him contained as they're able to get him down. So at halftime, it's the Patriots with the advantage. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome, everybody, to our abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. First things first, though, let's get a check on the next-gen stats from that first half for New England. And they've had some success on the ground. And with the lead going into the second half, they'll no doubt be looking to keep it going. Meanwhile, for the Colts, we take a look there at the numbers for them running the football in that first half.
Okay, Coach, yeah, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far.
The Colts getting the football first, and they trail here as we are back underway in quarter number 3.
Here's Isaiah Rodgers to return. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. The Colts ready to go to work to start the third quarter. And they're still very much in this game, although they do trail. What's the game plan, Charles, for the second half?
It might be a little counterintuitive because most people will think losing equals passing the ball more, but I'd establish the running game. They kind of went away from it in the first half. I think if they get back in balance, it'll help them when they put the ball back in the air.
First and 10, Taylor now.
And he is going to lose yardage here. He'll lose a yard there, and it's second and 11.
Yeah, another negative play in an early down situation. This one to start the drive. You're putting a lot of pressure on your quarterback to bail you out when you're in second and long yardage.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a second and 11.
Again, it's Taylor.
And he's upended at the 33 following a good pickup of 8.
But you got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a second and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to third and manageable with that run.
On third down, here's Taylor.
And he will not get there as they stop him short right around the 34-yard line. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave him with a fourth down.
But forget knowing where the first down line was. This defense created their own line of scrimmage. They won every battle up front, and a lot of times that is one-on-one. And if you win your one-on-ones enough times, your defense is going to be pretty good. They had more people to the football and snuffed out the play.
Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez as he's on to punt for Indianapolis. That'll be a 43-yard punt, just a single yard on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. So here are the Patriots now. They get ready for their first possession of half number 2. Their defense has pitched the shutout. Now they probably need to deliver a little breathing room, maybe make it a 2-score game as they've got it first and 10. Throwing to start the drive. Jones. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Smith. And they'll get 8 out of this before being stopped at the 28.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the ball, as we just saw there.
On second down, it's Stevenson.
And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line.
But we always talk about good down and distance, allowing offenses to expand their playbook. Well, 2nd and 2, that means your playbook's wide open. You can run just about anything. But a lot of times, the play caller, he just looks down at his sheet, sees the short yardage runs, and goes to one of those.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Off the play fake, Jones. Open man here, the tight end, Henry. And he is out of bounds inside the 35. A big play there for the Patriots.
I guess that answers the question of whether or not they're going to try to play conservative and protect this lead in the 3rd quarter.
And I think this is something we're seeing more and more of in the NFL. Teams not playing to protect leads, teams playing to extend them.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30.
From the gun, it's Stevenson.
Takes this to the 32, maybe the 31, as the defense rallies quickly after the nice move. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Well, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. They won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swarming to the ball carrier.
On 2nd down, it's Harris. And they'll get this one down to about the 20-yard line.
86 yards for him on the ground now. He has been a tough man to bring down all night.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
First down, and they go back to Harris. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Patriot touchdown.
And even 20 yards for Damian Harris.
And the Patriots add on to their lead.
Partner, they had a good lead as they went in at the half, and they came out here in the 2nd half and found a way to extend it. I love their consistency. Don't worry about what they said at halftime. This seemed like a team that was ready to play 60 minutes, and while this game is far from over, I love their approach.
Now Folk for the extra point. And it's good to make it 14-0. That drive goes 80 yards in 6 plays. And it was Damian Harris who finished things off with a touchdown run. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown.
And here's Rodgers to return. And makes it across the 20 as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line.
And now Indianapolis set to take the field. And still no points on the scoreboard. You're coming off of the 3 and out. They're just looking for anything to grab onto right now, aren't they?
I'm wondering if someone's going to take charge in the huddle. You know, we always look to the quarterback, but sometimes it's another player on the team, a star, a veteran, someone with some excitement and energy. It's like, all right, guys, let's shake things up and let's go, because they still have an opportunity to make things happen.
Shake it off. Throwing on first is Wentz. And incomplete.
Fair to say it hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better, got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They've got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
Third quarter here in Indy. This is 2nd and 10.
Watch the safety creep.
Wentz going to give this to Taylor.
And he'll take this one up close to the 25-yard line. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up.
Well, that's a good start to this drive on the defensive side of the ball.
Force the incompletion on 1st down. Then you're able to shut down the running play on 2nd.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now. A little bit of pressure going at the quarterback in an expected passing situation.
Now Wentz on 3rd down. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
I'm sure this isn't a novel thought, but maybe run some simpler routes instead of trying to get it all back in one shot. Defense certainly appears to be ready for them. Try and get it back little by little instead of in big chunks.
Now here's Rigoberto Sanchez as he's on to punt for Indianapolis. So a change of possession here on the punt. Out comes the New England offense to see what they can do this time. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch, counter punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you're thinking to yourself, how do we take that away from them? How do we get the advantage back? Let's see what they come up with. I think pressure is always the first way to go.
You love pressure.
I love it.
We'll see if they dial it up this drive. DeForest Buckner in on the tackle.
Well, on every play call, you realize it's not going to go for a touchdown. So a lot of your calls are setting things up for maybe later in the game, trying to establish the inside run with toughness now. Hopefully get to the perimeter later, and let's face it, you could do worse than a 4-yard run on 1st down.
2nd and 6, just inside the 30. Back to throw. Jones. The Colts are going to get him. Down he goes. He couldn't get away. He'll wind up losing a dozen yards. A 12-yard loss, and it brings up 3rd.
Boy, Charles, that time he took a bad situation and made it worse.
Yeah, you're almost putting together a nice little song there, aren't you? Because it's something you'll see from young quarterbacks. They have that tendency to retreat backwards instead of stepping up in the pocket.
Work now for Jones and the Patriots here after the sack. It's 3rd and long.
Jones now throwing on 3rd and long. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
Well, we always talk about how you've got to be quick when you go through your progressions, and here's another prime example. Trying to look downfield, he was standing in the pocket, but just couldn't find anyone open, could he?
No, not enough time. They hit him and forced that incompletion. The Patriots send out their punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. A 41-yard punt there with no return, and out will come the offense as they take over.
Indy set to go on offense once more.
These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Good starting field position for the Colts as they have it 1st and 10 at their 38. Now Wentz. Middle of the field to the tight end, Doyle. He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down.
Well, that's always a good place to throw it just because he's one of the biggest targets not only on this team but in the National Football League.
And you and I both know the quarterbacks love these large-body tight ends, and why not? Nowadays, they're really wide receivers who are just taller and have a little bit more weight. These guys catch the football, make big plays downfield. In the old days, we wanted them to block. Now coaches want them to catch the football first.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
He's got to be kicking himself right there. His team's already picked off 2 passes. That would have been the 3rd in the game. And boy, they've really played well attacking the football.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down.
And they'll try and run the option to pick it up.
Breaks the tackle, now Allen. And he takes this one in for a Colts touchdown. Carson Wentz, 53 yards. And the Colts have got it back to a 1-score game.
Well, when you've got a quarterback like this dead to rights, you got to make sure to wrap up. Instead, though, he breaks free and off he goes.
Yeah, this is a guy who runs with such balance and control. I mean, he went through that early contact just like he was driving over a speed bump. And he's able to continue his way downfield and wind up in the end zone.
And you can see the distance traveled there after the initial contact on the next-gen stats.
Michael Badgley on for the extra point. And that one makes it 14-7. Scoring summary, 3-play drive. And a long run there in the end to top it off.
Sanchez now, he'll kick it away following the touchdown. Taylor decides not to try to return it, and this will come out to the 25-yard line. New England trying to get to place on offense. And their lead cut in half by that touchdown a moment ago. They are up 7 as they begin this drive 1st and 10. The drive starts with a carry by Stevenson. And this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30.
An opportunity to get a drive started here at the end of the 3rd quarter. What you're trying to do is break the game down a little bit. Don't let your guys see too deep into the game, into the future, and say, oh, we got to get here. No, right here, right in front of them, melt the clock down, get to the 4th quarter, try and keep going.
And try to keep that lead.
Exactly.
On 2nd down now, it's Harris. And he gets this to the 35. Good for a gain of 5.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to him back.
Throwing, Jones. He's got his man. It's Kendrick Bourne. And he will have a Patriots first down, and he'll have it by plenty as they're able to keep the drive alive on 3rd and inches. So both teams trade touchdowns, and the 3rd as we're through 3 quarters of play. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Now Jones. And he'll be brought down by the Colts. Credit the sack to the Oregon Duck, DeForest Buckner.
Well, here's where having mobility sometimes can work quarterback. He thinks he can retreat now and run the pressure. But that time, they zeroed in on him and took him down for a big loss, partner.
A really big loss.
That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go.
Well, that'll be incomplete. Well, he took a shot as he let that go. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
You definitely would like to hit on that one because now you've got a 3rd and long showing up, and you just know defense is going to be getting after it. They are pinning their ears back, and they are coming.
New England on 3rd down. They're hitting at 60%, 6 out of 10 thus far. This will be 3rd and a mile. Looking to throw. Jones.
And that'll be complete to Stevenson.
They get 12 yards back, but it still leads to a 4th and long. You hate to surrender the football when you're nursing a slim lead, but they're going to have to punt it away. Trust that defense.
It's the right play at this stage of the game as well. You don't need to press it here because you do have that little bit of a cushion, and you count on your D to make it stand up.
The Patriots send out their punter as he's on to punt for the 4th time tonight. Did they keep it in? They did. They kept it in. It's down close to the goal line at the 1-yard line. The field position game often so overlooked, but this offense is going to be backed up deep. What an ideal punt.
And now, this stage of the game, when they need the drive to try and put themselves in a position to win it, you talk about going the long field, the very long field. This could be a 99-yard drive if they're able to accomplish it.
They'll run with Taylor to begin the drive.
And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
Really shouldn't be a surprise. It's going to be hard to move people in this situation. You know they're going to bring the pressure defensively. Because I remember playing in these spots, and my coaches always say, don't be afraid to try and create a safety, too. They're going to bring pressure.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10.
They run once more with Taylor.
And he'll get this up past the 5 to the 7-yard line.
57 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
When you find that kind of yardage, you couldn't be more confident as a ball carrier. And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator, I'd like to keep carrying it, thank you.
The Colts on 3rd down. They've converted 3 times in 8 chances. This is 3rd and 4. Now Wentz.
And he's going to be intercepted for the 3rd time thus far.
Picked off by Jalen Mills. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Patriot defense has a touchdown. That's the story of the game. They've been suffocating all game long on defense. They were suffocating there again in a big way.
And they've done it not just by out-athleting them, which is often the case, but by being able to adjust to anything they tried to throw at them and beating them to the punch each and every time. This was a defense that was well prepared.
On for the extra point is Folk. It's good, and it is now 21-7. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick six. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six. And now the kick is away.
And Rodgers will hold on to this one, and it'll come out to the 25. Indianapolis offense ready to go again. And we'll see if they can band back together after the pick six. It hurt badly, but still within striking distance. A two-score game with a good chunk of time on the clock.
Nyheim Hines, his first carry. And he'll work this forward for about 3 at second down.
I think they want to start getting back into this game. It behooves them to get better on first down.
Yeah, certainly not what they were looking for there out of the opening play of this drive. Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. From the gun, it's Wentz.
And this throw incomplete. Well, the defender all over him that time, and it's going to lead to 3rd down.
He did a fine job there of not hitting him before the ball arrived, and I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well and think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
On 3rd down, it's Hines, and he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. He lost 2, and it brings up 4th.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty. But when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. Now Wentz, got to have this one.
He'll take a shot downfield for Pittman.
And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Colts unable to convert here on 4th down. And the Patriots take over. They're going to have terrific field position. So they really needed points here in a 2-score game. Could not come away with anything there on 4th.
And while we know they're a little bit discouraged here, they can't check out of this game. You and I have called a good number of games over the course of our career where we've seen these types of situations. Teams get the ball back, and that miracle does occur. So they can't let that dream go just yet. They have to get stout on defense here.
Yeah, right now really hoping for a turnover.
Now a 1st down carry for Harris.
And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the 4th quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there. Now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Back to throw. Jones.
And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down.
Have to give some credit to the defender on that when he read all of his keys perfectly and got a great break on the ball and able to force that incompletion.
The chance of wasting this great starting field position, a real threat. This is 3rd and long. Looking to throw. Jones. Complete. Hunter Henry with the ground. And he will reach the 8-yard line before going out. And looking to put this game on ice in the 4th quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out.
A good chance now to put this game on ice. This is 1st and goal. Back to throw. Jones.
He'll get this into the hands of Stevenson.
And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
Second and goal from inside the 5. Back to throw again. And this is caught. Touchdown, Patriots. Kendrick Bourne there to make the grab.
And the Patriots have put this one to bed here in the fourth quarter.
He has really settled in throwing the football, and that touchdown here in the fourth quarter gives him a pretty comfortable cushion.
He may be a rookie, but he's playing like fourth quarter, and the QBing is easy. How about this guy? Youngster, not worried about anything, just cutting it loose and having fun.
Extra point up and good by Folk. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21. 5 plays there on that drive. And it ends with a New England touchdown. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown.
The drive will start at the 25-yard line here as Rodgers will not return it.
Here comes the Indianapolis offense now as they get set to take over. And last time out, went for it on 4th down, turned it over, gave them great field position, turned it to 6 points, so they've got to recover here, Charles.
It's amazing what one decision can do in the chain of events, right? The decision to go for it on 4th down.
Caused all of that.
It caused every bit of it, but it showed confidence. Hey, I've got confidence in you guys. Go pick it up for them. Didn't happen. Also showed confidence in the defense. They didn't pick up their end of the bargain, so now they've got to come back out and start over and rebuild that confidence.
Wentz now on 1st down.
He'll take a shot downfield for Pittman.
And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on 1st down, but he couldn't reel it in. Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
Here's a throw to his running back. It's complete. And some room to work. And he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. A big play that time on a catch and run.
And I think that's a pretty good illustration of why they try to get the football into his hands out of the backfield. That was something else.
And we talk so much from a defensive perspective about scheming and finding ways to take away the run. That means the offense has to devise different ways to get the ball in the hands of their guy out of the backfield. Find open space, let him run, and big things can happen, and they did right there.
On 1st and 10, here's Wentz. Taken in by the tight end Doyle. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him.
Well, this game was decided a while ago, and that completion there is going to artificially inflate his passing numbers. So right now, the only one really applauding probably his agent as he thinks about angling for a new contract.
From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10.
Running the sweep, Hilton with it. And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. Devin McCourty brings him down.
But defensively, they had that one pretty well figured out.
Yeah, and one of the things about this play, it can be even more effective when you run a lot of motion, and there's plenty of times you don't hand it off.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. Colts in possession of the football as we get you reset. They're looking at second down now as they search for a consolation score. A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete. Another pass attempt, another incompletion. You figure defensively, you're in the fourth quarter here. You've held the team under 100 yards passing. You've done your job.
Especially in today's NFL, which is truly a pass-first league.
After an incomplete pass on second down, that'll leave him trying to convert on 3rd and 9. To throw is Wentz. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
And a tough ask here. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 9. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the Patriots defense is going to take over on downs. So they tried to go for it for pride, but it really wouldn't have mattered. This one, it was already determined.
No doubt about it. This one was over a while ago.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10.
They'll start the drive with Harris, and he's going to have just a couple here with a marker on the field as well. So he was holding from that left tackle position.
Everyone tries to keep their hands inside when they're blocking ever since they liberalized the rules where you can extend them out. But sometimes they get out a little wide and they get detected grabbing some cloth.
They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's 2nd down.
Well, that was one of the few times they've been able to contain him thus far. He's over 100 yards for the game, but he lost a bit off his total on that carry.
Let's go.
Again, it's Harris on 2nd down.
And he's going to be taken down shy of the 10, right around the 9-yard line.
2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
On 3rd down, here's Harris. And he'll be taken down, losing yardage back at the 9-yard line. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
So this will wind up a victory for the New England Patriots. And they were buoyed, Charles, by a big second half that put this one on ice.
So you get the sense that whatever was said at halftime obviously hit home. I think it's a little bit more than that, though. Obviously, there are words that are said, and hey, come on, guys, we have to play better. But sometimes it's just sharpening your execution, sharpening your focus, and maybe doing the things you practiced all week without major adjustments, just doing them better. And that got it done in this one.